When Paul McCartney was only 16, he composed a song that still carried the audible trace of youthful nerves in his voice. That composition would later become the Beatles' very first studio recording. Looking back, McCartney admitted he had been terrified during the session, and he felt that tension could still be heard in the vocal track. The recording was significant not just because it marked the band's debut in the studio, but also because it showcased a song McCartney had written before the group officially became the Beatles. John Lennon later explained that Love Me Do had been penned by McCartney not long before Lennon himself joined the band. McCartney recalled that it was his first real attempt at lead vocals in a studio setting, since most of the early singing had been handled by Lennon. Despite his anxiety, the performance worked. And though McCartney still hears the nervous edge in his delivery, the single successfully made its way into the charts. During the session, producer George Martin suggested that a harmonica might add a bluesy touch. Lennon, who had taught himself to play the chromatic harmonica, stepped up for the part. McCartney remembered that he owned a harmonica too, but Lennon had been quicker to master it. Lennon even joked at the time that if he ever wound up in jail, at least he would be the guy who played the harmonica. Because the harmonica part overlapped with the vocal line, McCartney suddenly found himself tasked with singing the exposed phrase, "Love Me Do," at a key moment in the song. It was a responsibility he hadn't anticipated, since Lennon usually handled those moments, and he admitted that his lack of preparation contributed to the shakiness he still hears today. Both Lennon and Ringo Starr later praised McCartney for his performance. Starr pointed out that Love Me Do symbolized the band's arrival, calling the first single a milestone because it meant they were officially on a record. Lennon, meanwhile, emphasized that although the lyrics leaned heavily on teenage themes of love and desire, the structure carried an unexpected maturity. He also noted that McCartney had developed the framework for the song when he was around 16, perhaps even earlier. McCartney reflected further on how the song came about, describing it as one of the earliest true collaborations between himself and Lennon. He explained that Love Me Do was co-written in a simple, almost experimental way, with both of them sitting down together despite not having particularly strong individual ideas. For him, the experience was less about the brilliance of the song itself and more about the act of learning to write together. He believed that this constant practice during their formative years was what ultimately gave the Lennon-McCartney partnership its lasting strength.